Howdy and welcome everyone to the Big and Bright Podcast. My name is Nick. This here next to me is James.
Howdy.
Been a bit, isn't it?
Has
Yes, been quite
a little too long.
How you doing? You all right?
I'm good. Good as
Hanging
can
in there?
be.
Pretty okay?
Yeah.
You're like pretty medium? You're very
Yeah,
medium.
Just very medium.
Awesome. How's the little one? Little Clarence?
No, he's good.
Doing all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Doubled in size.
Yeah, he's got some of his shots now, so we're able to kind of bring him out and about for stuff. We had him at church today.
He has his shots. He's got to get rabies or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can get bit by a dog. It
That's
happens.
true. Now I just don't have to worry as much if he bites me.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, I'll tell you what, man. They get really big really quick, and then they start crawling everywhere, and then they wreck your house, and then you resent everything.
Yeah, I saw with your kid. It was really funny. You set up the DVDs on your TV stand, and the other section, he's taking down the other DVDs. I'm like, all right, so once he does that one, I'll just repeat. Rinse, repeat, repeat.
So, side note, this is not the big and bright idea, but whoever thought of baby proofing was an absolute moron. And here's why. I understand there's a need to keep babies safe, but baby proofing, babies have some weird sixth sense where they know everything that you set up to baby proof the house, and they know exactly how to dismantle it, and they have like a heat-seeking laser focus to get to that thing.
Yeah.
That's all my kid does. My kid is a 100% full-time job suicide machine, and he knows exactly what I've done to keep him safe, and he goes and just removes it. And it's crazy. Nobody told me that.
What you gonna do about it, Dad?
Nobody told me that when I had a kid. Nobody told me that they were going to constantly be trying to off themselves, and I had to monitor them 100% of the time.
Well, if they did, you wouldn't have the kid then.
Yeah, that's true.
Trick you in.
It's nuts, man. So just get ready. I'll tell you. I know you, and I know your wife, and I don't know your boy very well, but to be fair, nobody does.
Yeah.
He's been on the.
He's been real rude. He hasn't said a word to anybody.
I know he's been on the earth for like 10 weeks. But get ready, man. He's gonna be a wily one. That little snowball.
Oh yeah.
That little.
You mean just as hard headed as Dad.
Little Clarence Thomas. He got the ginger and everything. Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, friends, we are back. We are here, ready. We got some new stuff. As you can see, we got our logo. We're making things happen here, guys. This is becoming a real thing. I'm pretty excited about it.
Also, please like and follow our Twitter.
On Twitter, yes.
At Big and Bright Pod.
Because I approve of us having a Twitter.
Look at that.
I am 100% confident in that, and I need to unscrew my smile because that...
One ear chewing later, Nick is all of a sudden on the Twitter train.
But please do like and subscribe. I really do. I really do appreciate it. I like it more here. I appreciate it more here than I do on Twitter, but both is always good. Because apparently that's how we have to live life now, which we should do. I mean, that should be a big and bright idea one time. We should just talk about what Texans should think about social media. Because we've been doing a lot of stuff regarding social media. I mean, Texas has been in a lot of fights regarding social media. We covered that on one of our episodes. But man, it is, to me, tragic that this is how we have to live our lives now. But that's how we have to live our lives, and we need your help to do that, so please like and subscribe.
You're such an old man.
I am. I'm an old soul. That's what it is. My wife calls me an old soul. My friends call me a jerk.
I think you were a little too... You get loud too much on that sentence. You mean friend?
Friend, yeah.
Friend. You don't have friends.
Are you my only friend?
Yeah, and you still owe me $50 for being your friend last week.
All right.
So pay
That's
up.
fair. We have friends on Twitter.
It's fair enough.
So, are they friends on Twitter?
They're friends with me.
Or are they just tweeters?
I
don't know what they're called. I don't care.
Twitter followers?
I really don't care. Yeah, followers. That's what they're. Which sounds so much more cult-like.
Because we're the leaders.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're on Facebook, you're my friend. If you're on Twitter, you're my follower. You're my disciple.
Yeah, you're my peon.
Yeah, exactly. So come enjoy our Twitter discipleship and subscribe to this channel because we really enjoy that and it helps the channel out quite a bit. Yep. So we do appreciate it. But friends, Texas is all over the news again. Because why not?
We're so awesome. That's why.
Because we're awesome. And because in this, I mean, that's one of the reasons why we called this the Big and Bright Podcast is because we feel like Texas is a light in the darkness. And we are proving that on a pretty significant level.
They can't leave us alone.
They can't leave us alone because we don't want to
You down there, stop making your own decisions.
Yeah. And I mean, it
you
used
listen to us.
It was Florida. So Florida was getting all the glory for that, right? DeSantis over there in Florida. Which, by the way, DeSantis, right on. Good on you, man. You're doing some great stuff. But it was you were kind of stealing the Texas thunder a little bit. But we've come roaring back onto the scene, and we've got some really, really crazy stuff that's been going on as it pertains to the Rona, as it pertains to this new president of ours and his policies, as it pertains to things like immigration. And we're going to talk about all of this in today's Big and Bright Idea. All right, so Big and Bright Idea. What do Texans think of our beloved governor? Of our beloved governor, Greg Abbott. Praise be. Praise be to Greg Abbott. No, that's not true. Greg Abbott is not a saint yet. Yeah, we haven't canonized him yet. But I think he's doing some really good stuff. Yeah. There's been some criticism on Greg Abbott lately, though.
Well, there's been criticism for the past year.
For sure. I mean, especially with coronavirus.
I think it's literally because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, well...
That's the only thing he's had to actually monitor since then.
A lot of people were saying that he was too quick to move on masks and shutting down businesses. And again, I think that's partially because of DeSantis. I think if there is no DeSantis, then we don't have the same level of flack coming Abbott's way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because DeSantis is over there...
If you have nothing to compare it to... then you really can't get mad.
DeSantis is over there in Florida saying, hey, we got our businesses open. We have sort of a loose mask mandate, like if you want to, but...
Yeah, DeSantis kind of, like the way it seems like in Florida, it kind of reminds me of being back in Texas during the whole 2008 recession.
Yeah.
Like the whole country noticed, like, oh man, the recession really hit. And Texas going, there's a recession? Like, we really didn't see it.
That is very true.
Because it really didn't affect us.
Texans have, for those of us that don't live in the state, it's tough. And I mean, I work in an industry that is it fluctuates a lot based on the economy. And what I can say is Texans have a bubble, right? We have sort of an economic bubble in the sense that we feel the impact of a lot of economic decisions around the country, but we don't feel it nearly as significantly.
We have a freedom bubble around our border.
It's a freedom bubble, a money bubble, right? Like, for example, 2008. So the 2008 real estate crash.
Yeah.
We felt it. I'm not saying it didn't do anything in Texas, but we were not very hard.
Yeah, there was a few places not hiring as many people, but I mean, granted, I was still in high school at that point, and you really didn't notice besides that because I mean, my parents, anyways, they're laborers, so like they were still working because you always need laborers.
Yeah, which is just evidenced by the fact that, and I do love our country. I mean, let's be very clear. I love the United States, but
I thought you were talking about Texas.
One of the unique, so Texas as well. One of the unique difficulties of a country like the United States, with how big it is and how diverse it is that you can have two people that live in the same country. One lives in Detroit, the other one lives in Dallas, and they might as well live on different planets. Yeah. I mean, it's just a different experience altogether because of federalism, which, by the way, very pro-federalism, very happy about federalism, right? But
federalism.
But if you never come to Texas, if you don't experience what it's like to live in other states, then you really don't. I mean, you really don't get it. I guess I would say because you don't fully grasp what we're talking about because you haven't lived it.
Well, like, I mean, we did a couple episodes ago where you were talking about working as a teacher and talking to those in New York, and they were saying all these things, and you're going, does not compute. I don't know what you're talking about.
Doesn't make any sense.
We've been in restaurants. Our restaurants are open. What are you talking about? You can't do anything.
I can't go to a restaurant. I'm like, I went to a restaurant yesterday, right? They're like, oh, this is going to be the rest of our life. And that's the thing, is like that.
You're just accepting that's the rest of your life?
Attitude
Screw that. No.
It exists here for sure, but it exists far less here in Texas.
Just obey the rule. Oh, screw off.
There seems to be an indication. So, and again, I think this works both ways. Like, we don't necessarily know what it's like on other states because we don't live there per se.
They're not relevant.
I travel a lot. I know a lot of people that live in different states, and I've got a lot of relationships that I maintain all over the country. And I will say that there just seems to be less of a doom and gloom about coronavirus in the state of Texas. Like, we can sort of see the end here.
Unless you're in Austin.
Yeah, well, in Austin, that's they're kind of their own thing. But especially here in the DFW area, we can see the end, right?
We're at the end.
We're at the end. We're kind of recognizing that all of this is wrapping up.
Let's be real. The companies that are still maintaining the whole mask thing inside their stores, even their employees are wearing it just halfway. Like they'll wear it underneath their nose, or they'll have it even on their chin. It's like, yeah, your policy is to wear it, and they're going with our technicality rule. Brown is going, all you said was wear it. There's nothing in that rule of wearing it correctly,
which shocks a lot of people. You know, that
I don't even
shocks
wear
a lot
it.
of people.
I smile at people and they kind of look at me sometimes like, what are you going to do?
But it shocks people around the country because a lot of people in other states seem to believe that we're still in the middle of this and that it's still life and death and all this because they're listening to the sainted Dr. Fauci.
What's it that there's another strain, like a double...
double super secret probation.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. There's it's a double version. It's like
double
what?
super secret variant.
A double
right?
mutation
Yeah.
or something. And it's like you just kind of made some kind of name up.
This virus is an X-Man.
Yeah.
This is the Wolverine virus. No, and so there's just a different feel, and I think a great deal of that comes from our governor, right? Or at the very least from our governance. Right,
yeah.
from the Texas government, because again, the Texas government is still primarily conservative. They are very pro-business, but the governor himself has really kind of stepped out into the forefront. I think he's taken from the example of DeSantis and seen, yeah, you can do this, and he's kind of allowing himself a little bit more liberty as it pertains to what we're doing, how we're featuring coronavirus right now. But there was some criticism at the beginning.
Yeah.
They were saying he was, they were looking at DeSantis and being like, well, if Florida can do it, why can't we do it here? We're Texas, right? Why can't?
Well, they have more
Texas
senior population in Florida, and we still weren't matching what they were doing, which was my kind of brunt of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. But even I've said we can't put a 20/20 hindsight on some of these laws that we just didn't like what he put in.
Yeah.
It's one of those we got tired of it being in place, not that. In reality, he shouldn't have ever put these in place because I get it from a political standpoint. I get it. You got to CYA. You got to cover your butt.
Yeah, you got to cover your butt. Well, that's the thing, and we still talk to friends of ours, and I talk to a lot of people that are still really kind of chapped at Governor. They're like, oh, why is it Governor Abbott? Governor Abbott's not doing this, or Governor Abbott's a useless government because we got DeSantis over there in Florida. He's doing all this, and Governor Abbott's not following suit. And for a bit, I could see it, but I think he was smart. Honestly, I don't find a whole lot of criticism in what he did in early coronavirus because we just didn't know. We didn't know what this was at that time, right?
Yeah.
What else? What else do you think?
So you're thinking like, are you of the opinion we shouldn't have shut it down from the beginning?
That we should have shut it down from the beginning. We shouldn't have shut it down from the beginning.
Because we had like we've talked about, we've had those couple of months where a lot of things you only could get to go. You certainly couldn't go in movie theaters.
Yeah.
You had to go places with a mask.
The hindsight being 2020, because again, we know
because it happened in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. We know a lot more. That's weird, man. That's meta. Oh. That's good. That's clever. Okay, but we know now what we were dealing with, and we didn't necessarily know at the time. But looking back, I think that the 15 days to slow the spread was fine, right? This concept of we'll keep this shut down for 2 weeks just because we don't know what the heck this is.
Yeah.
It was kind of spooky there for a second.
But on a side note, sorry I interrupted there. Yeah. On a side note, if the term 15 days to slow the spread does not throw a thought in your head of maybe the government's lying to me, then I don't know where you've been.
Yeah.
It was the biggest lie. Even though it was said by Pence, put in place by Trump, but it didn't force anything. That was just their overall suggestion for states to follow, and all the states pretty much did. It shows you. So if you actually just lie down just for one, all right, we're going to take these 10 miles. It's like, you give an inch, then you give a mile. No, for government, you give an inch, they take the 10 miles because they know you won't buck back.
That being said, I think that if we actually had 15 days, at the end of that 15 days, we should have been like, okay, we now know what we're dealing with. We can kind of create some other measures to sort of push back the.
But that's the thing, though. We couldn't know what we were dealing with. This is still novel. We're still figuring out the long-term effects of those who actually got the Rona.
But we know that it's not nearly as deadly as we thought.
Now we didn't know that.
We know now, yeah.
We wouldn't have known it in 15 days. Is what I'm saying is so that 15 days was BS from the get-go.
Yeah.
You can't learn about a new sickness in 15 days.
Yeah. But that was the big con that a lot of Texans had with Governor Abbott was, he was too quick on the Rona. Now, let's go to the other side of the coin. What do we like? Well, first and foremost, Governor Abbott has released us. Yeah, what he's doing now is awesome. Right?
Freedom.
We are now free because Governor Abbott said, no, we're not going to keep this going. Business is open at full capacity. Wear a mask if you want to, because guess what? You're a grown-up and you're a free Texan. Do what you want to do. Great.
You're all adults. Solve your own problems.
It was a little too late. I would say. I think we could have done that earlier, but very happy that we're in that situation.
I still think it's 2020 hindsight, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's a little. And again, you can't measure things based on hindsight, but still, it is very happy that that's there. What else? What else do we like about Abbott?
He banned vaccine passports with an EO. That was awesome.
How creepy is that, man? The vaccine passport.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just wearing my special gold star.
How creepy is that? That is, and people like to toss around the word Orwellian, right? Of
everything's Orwellian.
Everything's Orwellian, right? Which is the right's version of Nazi. I feel like
exactly,
because,
like everything's either a Nazi if you're from the left, but if you're on the right, it's like it's all Orwellian.
Everything
it's like,
is
so
Orwellian.
you have your little check boxes too. I can play bingo with the right, just like I can play bingo with the buzzwords of the left.
Vaccine passports are Orwellian.
Yeah.
That's straight out of 1984.
I'm not going to let you know what I have or have not gotten.
You have to have your party pass in order to.
Why are we making a passport? Just make him wear gold stars. That worked in the first time, right?
No, that would be wearing a gold star if you haven't gotten one.
Oh, there we go.
Because it's kind of the scarlet letter type thing. But I'm sorry, screw you, right? If you're gonna say oh you have to wear a vaccine, you have to have a vaccine passport in order to participate in society. No. I am having so much trouble not cursing on this podcast when we talk about this stuff because it is maddening. It's shockingly Orwellian. Like we're doing things now that if you told me in 2018 this was going to be happening, I'd be like, I don't believe you.
Yeah, you go to ourselves in 2018 and say, hey, by the way, you're going to wear a mask when you go to public places. What are you talking about? No, I'm not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you will. No, you won't even put up a fight. You'll just wear it.
See, I wouldn't believe that. Because they're already doing that in places like China and South Korea because of SARS, right? So if you told me that there was a big pandemic that came through and people in America started wearing masks, I could believe that. If you told me that you had to get a vaccine and you had to present evidence that you'd gotten a vaccine or you couldn't enter into a place like an airport or a stadium, then I'd be like, no, there's no way. But they're talking about that now.
There's
the fact
just
that that's
no
even
way.
Considered, there's no way. You bet that's going to be a problem.
No.
Now, here's the thing.
Well, I do have a point against the vaccine passports. He banned them from government.
From the government, yeah.
I think you should have said also private businesses, you can't do this either. And if you can say the private business, well, they have the ability to have a say about what they do in their company. Correct. But when you operate under the laws of Texas,
if you want to do business
Texas says you have this much of the Constitution because you're in Texas. Mm-hmm. Based on that, you can't make them do this because you have to violate HIPAA law in any fashion to enforce a vaccine passport.
Where is HIPAA on this? That's the other thing. I'm like...
Quiet. They're just quiet.
So my wife is a nurse, and she comes home from her job, and she's got this little paper in her back pocket, which is just notes. It's notes on medication and stuff like that. And she immediately has to tear it up and throw it in the trash because if I see it, it's a violation of HIPAA law. But I'm allowed to have I'm allowed to require you to have a vaccine passport, right? Because I'm going to disclose medical information about me. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I'm really glad he's done it because no state yet has actually put on their books to enforce this. Yeah. They've talked about it. They've screamed about it. They've said how great and how scientific of an idea this is. Mm-hmm. But no state and no federal law has put it into place. Yeah. And Governor Abbott said, before you even chance this, we're just going to go ahead the horse here. And I may be the idiots like, you put that EO for no reason. Wouldn't even do anything. Doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm showing you, before you even think about doing it, you're not doing it.
But I think that you're right when you talk about businesses. I think that Governor Abbott is fully within his rights to say, listen, you guys can be private businesses, but if you're going to operate in the great state of Texas, you have to abide by HIPAA law too. You're not doing this. You're not doing this crap. And the thing is, people say, well, what about these sort of multinational people like Amazon or, I guess, Google and
Walmart.
YouTube and Walmart, yeah. Or even sports leagues, MLB, right? NFL. Because I guarantee you, if Governor Abbott comes out and says, hey, you can't do business without vaccine passports, and Jerry Jones hears about that and he's not going to get his money, he's going to Roger Goodell and be like, nope, no, stop it right now. So what do we do about those sort of a lot of them are multinational, but those multi-state national companies that are doing business in tech? Are they just going to move? Are they just going to leave?
If they want to enforce it, I'd say they have to.
I mean,
you have the money.
That's a shock to the economy for sure if you do that.
Well,
but I like at this again. I like it. I don't think it's going far enough.
No, I don't think it's going far enough, but I do like it.
I have, and I'm not comparing these two people, but I have these visions of Abbott kind of as this Mikhail Gorbachev sort of character. Because Mikhail Gorbachev, you could make the case, almost saved the Soviet Union. He just didn't go quite far enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he didn't decentralize the economy enough. He didn't open up the free press enough. If he had done it, there's a good case that Mikhail Gorbachev could have saved the Soviet Union by opening it up and kind of releasing all that. I feel like if there's an issue, this could be a situation where we look back on history and we say, Governor Abbott almost saved the state of Texas, right? Because the criticism of everything that we've said about him so far is that was great, but he didn't go quite far enough, right? Yeah. He didn't quite do it enough, right? Releasing the mask mandate was great, but you probably should have done that earlier, right? The requiring no
to be fair, though, if he did it, it wouldn't have been awesome as on Texas Independence Day.
That is very
because I mean it's a political ploy, all right.
True.
So I get it. You
Very
have to play the politics when sometimes you get given a gift.
Good eye for optics, there, Governor. But yeah, so again, I really like this. I think it's a great first step, but we got to keep rolling on that. What else? He refused to throw out the first pitch at a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Not a political thing, but definitely an interesting statement, right?
He has stated that, and we'll get to this too. Sorry, a lot of these are actually part of our hots.
A lot of these are in the hots.
Possible sanctuary state for guns, based on the EOs that Biden has put out. And again, we'll get to the EOs. That's just like a blanket statement. So if you're confused about what he put in, don't worry. Stay tuned.
And we'll talk about guns here in a bit. But there's this thing about ghost guns. This supposedly like kits that you can buy to assemble guns without serial numbers.
I thought it was ghosts having guns.
I'm sorry. Can somebody tell me what this? I have never heard of such a thing. And I own plenty of guns, right?
As a gun owner, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I am very pro-gun. I have never heard about something like this. So if someone out there in the comments, can you tell me what these things actually are? And if they actually exist? Because I really feel like these ghost guns are just that. They're ghosts. They don't exist.
Yeah, no,
right?
Ghost Adventures has found so many on their little ghost hunts that it's become a problem, so you got to worry about it.
Yep, I believe it. What else we like about Abbott? I mean, there's a lot to love about Abbott.
I mean, he's doing all this now. All right. I know you said love, but I'm still I can't let that go. He's doing all this now, and you say like lately he's done pretty good. Is it because he did so poorly a year ago?
I think that
and
might
he's
be
been
it.
Screwing it up.
I think that might be it.
And what's funny is that even as a Texan, before Rona, you really didn't hear from Abbott. You really haven't heard from Abbott.
Which is fine. I like governors like that.
For me, it's fine.
I'm happy about that.
But how curious is it took this for him to be like, all right, I'm just gonna come out here and start just saying it. Instead of just trying to be polite, I'm just gonna start saying screw it and just start going with it.
Yeah. I liked having a governor that I didn't hear from.
Yeah.
I liked having a governor that stayed out of my business. And now I like having a governor kind of standing athwart the coming tide and yelling stop. I like that. I think he was slow on the mask mandate. We've gone over that criticism. The other one was there was some criticism about his kind of where was he during the snowstorm.
Yeah.
That he didn't react fast enough. He didn't get the word out fast enough.
What could the governor do? Is like, hey, stop. All right.
Yeah, I mean the governor
that's literally all you could have done, and nothing would have happened.
The governor ultimately is just one dude, but I mean that is a good question. What could he have done? Is there anything that we can theoretically
I think from again, it's one of those where if you want to say he should have known that it was all going to hit the fan because we all had warnings that it was going to get a snowstorm, blah blah blah. Well, he had no reason to question the CEO of ERDOT, I think it's the name of the electric company that provides like 95% of Texas energy. He told the governor, "We're good. We're set. Yeah, I know. I see the storm too. I'm watching what's going on. Yeah. Don't worry. We're gonna be fine." And of course, as we all know, it ended up not being fine. Yeah. And some people got very high electricity bills. Ours was a lot higher than it should have been. We just paid it, said, it is what it is. It's a one-time event. It happens. But from that standpoint, why would you discount the CEO's word?
Yeah.
I've had no reason to question you. You've given me no reason for me to think that you're just fibbing numbers to me. We're good.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure if you needed help, here's some extra help. That's what he was going to do. But you told me you're good, then I don't think we need help then. And
so,
of course, here we go.
It's always fun to heap blame onto one guy, right? We do this with the president a lot. We say, well, where's the president on this? And you think about the president as someone who can just kind of wag his finger and solve everything. That's not necessarily what a president is. That's not what a governor is, right? So, so where was Abbott? The reasonable question, and we talked about this with Ted Cruz, right?
Yeah.
The reasonable question is what could they have done, right? What could you have foreseen them? And the one unacceptable answer to that question is, well, something. No, that's not an acceptable answer to that question. We got to do something.
Yeah, because at that point, it's like,
what?
Well, he should have tweeted about it.
Yeah, because standing outside and screaming at the storm is doing something.
Yeah.
But it's not even remotely appropriate to say that.
Compared to like an AOC, it's like, well, she did something. It's like, she screams a lot.
Yeah.
That's all she does. What's funny is that there's a nonpartisan, and I don't have the article in front of me, but there's a nonpartisan group that actually looks into the effectiveness of each politician, from House members to Senate members, about what, and it doesn't go by, if you don't get something passed, they don't see like, oh, you're an unsuccessful politician. It's what did you put up for debate? Mm-hmm. What got out of committee? And they may have eventually lost on the floor, but did you get anything out of a committee to actually be on the floor, to at least go to a vote? That's really, from a congressperson's standpoint, that's all you can do, is try to move the needle in the direction you think is fit, one way or another. Not just demand it, just actually try the whole bipartisanship. Well, AOC is the least effective one. She has the far most Twitter following. She doubles Pelosi, by the way, on Twitter.
No.
And Pelosi's been there for years, almost like 2 decades at least. And yet she's more effective. Why? Because she knows how to play the game. Whereas AOC just wants to yell. And so, if that's your something, okay, you got nothing out of committee. Anything you talked about sponsoring, no one voted for. So if that's what you think about something, I'd rather have someone who's trying to move the needle that actually move the needle than just get a bunch of Twitter following and get people pissed off about things.
So where do you think Abbott ranks on the effectiveness scale?
Effectiveness? I think he am I giving him a grade rating, or am I ranking him with the states?
Yeah, give me a letter grade.
Letter grade, I would say solid B.
He's a solid B.
Only because he should have taken the mask mandate out sooner, but I'm not going to really penalize him. That's why it's still in the B range, because he had to put it in. I love
that you rank Abbott. If you rank Abbott a B, where do you put someone like Gavin Newsom or something like that?
Oh, he can you still fail people, or is that not allowed anymore?
It's like you can.
Do I have to give him a D plus? Be like, well, he submitted a blank piece of paper at something.
No, you can't. You fail. You fail, Gavin Newsom.
Then he gets a Q.
The other thing is about Abbott. Speaking of statements and things like that, Abbott's been kind of loud on the border.
Yeah.
And
Operation Lone Star.
This is an interesting thing. Because I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. But what is Operation Lone Star? What is that?
Well, fun fact, because Mr. Biden is totally not crisis down there, as we talked about.
Yeah,
not a crisis. Well, obviously, we're having people come over at exorbitant rates.
Yeah.
So they won't offer more ICE or more Department of Homeland Security agents down there. They won't allow us to get more or to solidify it. We're sending Texas troopers down there to take the job that they're not supposed to be doing, because that's not their job. You're actually, it's weird because in constitutional law, if the Fed puts something in place that requires a state agent, like for instance, maybe like our SOS or our Attorney General, if it forces them to be the person who keeps it in compliance, like you have to have these numbers, and a state agent has to be the one to like, all right, what are the numbers? All right, it's 100. All right, log 100. There you go. Now it's presentable for the Fed. That actually is commandeering a state agency. You can't do that. So if you're going to put this new effect in, you have to give them an executive official for that state to actually do it. Because that's your job. We just voted this in. This is a new thing. You have to do it. You can't make the SOS do it.
Okay.
So now we're saying, because you're not doing it, we're giving our own state agents to do it for us because it's that bad. They're actually saying, we know we shouldn't have to do this, and it's not in their law.
So what are the troopers doing? What are they doing? What are they doing?
They're helping secure the border. Okay. They're helping get the people that are coming over illegally.
Which, by the way, if that is in fact the case and the troopers are down at the border, for any of our Mexican listeners, do not cross in Texas. Because I will tell you this. This is the process of becoming a state trooper of the state of Texas. You sit in a room with the funniest comedians that have ever existed, and you watch them for hours, and if you crack a smile once, you cannot be a state trooper of the state of Texas. Because those guys have no sense of humor. They do not take any crap from anybody.
Always that general thing whenever you get pulled over by one.
Yeah.
If they're wearing their hat as they come to your window, you're like, crap, I'm getting a ticket.
But
if they're not wearing their hat, it's like, I'm going to get a warning.
If you see the Stetson, you're done, man.
You got that 10-gallon hat on, dadgummit, I'm getting that ticket today.
I know. We've got a buddy of mine who was actually a city police officer, and I wonder what he'd think about that. But I've always had more luck with city cops than I have with state troopers.
Oh, yeah, troopers are not the warning guys.
I love the troopers, man. Tell me what. This is not a story for another time, but a trooper saved my life once, right? So I'm very positive on the state troopers of Texas, but man, those guys do not mess around. They will.
Those are not the guys you want to piss off. Like, I'm gonna crack a joke, see if he smiles. Nope, you just got yourself arrested. I don't know how you did it. He found a way.
I don't know how you did it. He was so offended by your unfunny joke, you went to jail.
He found a statute that hasn't been enforced in 100 years and go, I'm enforcing it today though. You're in jail.
As far as state troopers go, man, Texas got the best ones, and
But that's a broad brush about Operation Lone Star. You should really look into it. It's pretty interesting, and it's sad that our state has to do that because Biden's not offering any more help.
And again, this is where Abbott's being very loud, but what does he actually do? I mean, so you got the Operation Lone Star. That's a big
he's
thing.
trying to solve the problem himself. He's like, fine, you're not going to help us. We'll try to do it. Is it the wrong method? I don't know.
Here's the criticism, though. Where was he under Trump? Because supposedly, this is what the criticism is that now that Biden's president, you're all about the inhumane treatment of people at the border. But supposedly you had the same facilities under Trump and Obama. Why didn't you say anything then?
Were the facilities overrun? No.
It depends on who you ask.
Based on numbers, no.
No, they weren't. Yeah, they're
the numbers they actually give us because they don't let us have all the numbers because it's not that great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm not one of those people that talks about lived experience a lot, right? I don't see a ton of value in that. But one thing I will say is if you think that the overrun border is not a big deal and you're not from a border state, just shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Because we're the ones that have to deal with the economic ramifications of an overrun border.
We said that last episode. Is like you get to be in your ivory tower and say, this looks good on paper. We should just implement it. And we're on the border going, what the heck's going on, guys?
Yeah.
They're literally coming into our state.
Yeah.
But I would say one other thing that the Twitter actually has been good on for us is Abbot actually tweets almost every day, if not twice a day, about our COVID vaccine shots. Mm-hmm. And he constantly says, like, this is up to you. It will always, in Texas, be up to the person, never being mandated. Yeah. But he tweeted this, I think it was, what's today? April the 11th. He tweeted this last night. Okay. He said, today, Texas surpassed 14 million COVID shot vaccines just 2 days after passing 13 million. We also set a new record of COVID vaccines given to Texans in one day, which was 388,833. We had the second lowest COVID-related hospitalizations in 10 months. Great job, Texans.
Yep.
And then, of course, you don't have to get this if you don't want to.
Yep. You don't have to get it if you don't want to. My body,
But he's just like, if we're going to talk about it, I'm going to show the positive light of what we are doing. And, yeah, certain states have more vaccines implemented, but they also have more populations. Like, I would expect you to have this out.
Yep, for sure.
But apparently to our actual... And he tweeted this a couple days ago, actually, and he had the link. And like I said, I don't have it in front of me, but he tweeted the for 80 plus and for like the 65 to 80 range of seniors. 65 to 80 were like in around 70-ish%, and the 80 plus were a little over 80%. It's like so the most vulnerable populations are pretty high in vaccinations. Total population, we're still pretty low.
Yeah,
but that's also because a lot of people are voluntarily just not getting it if they don't have to. Like for instance, I probably won't. I'm not in that certain demographic that actually has to worry about the health part. If I fit in that, guess what I'm doing? I'm probably getting the vaccine. My father-in-law, for instance, he is 70 plus. Mm-hmm. That's the main reason he got it. He goes, I wouldn't want to if I was in your age, but I'm not.
Same thing with my grandparents.
Yeah, reality is reality.
That's the way it is. And I mean, again, I can't tell you what to do. But if you're under the age of 40, ain't no reason for you to be getting that vaccine. I mean, your
I won't give an
chances
opinion
are
on that because I still think it's up to you. You decide yourself.
It is up to you, and you can do what you want to do, right? Again, my body, my choice. You can do whatever you want to do.
Oh gosh.
With the vaccine, it's your life. You do what you want to do, but the numbers just don't bear out that there's that significant of a risk for you if you're under the age of 40.
No,
it just doesn't work.
So what letter grade would you give Abbott?
I'd give Abbott an A.
Give him an A?
I'd say maybe an A minus, but I'd give him an A.
You're that lenient law
Here's
professor.
Here's the thing, man. I can think of maybe two governors that are as good as Governor Abbott. I guess you got DeSantis in Florida.
Yeah.
And then I would say you have Kristi Noem in South Dakota, and you have I'd say what's the Georgia guy?
I can't think of his name. I can look it up.
Yeah, okay. So, but Georgia, I'd say, is under Abbott. But I mean, there's maybe 2 or 3. The rest of them, I mean, I'm sorry, man. If you're gonna go with what the middle of the pack is,
Brian Kemp,
right? Brian Kemp. I'd say Brian Kemp is probably under Abbott, but
I'm not gonna fault us for not knowing what's not our state.
Yeah, what's not our state. But I mean, the dude's in the top 5. He's gonna be the top 5 governors in the country, and you're not gonna give him an A. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit more
bell curve's a lot harder.
Maybe I'm a little more lenient than you are, but I mean, the dude's on the end of the bell curve.
For me, it's one person gets the A+, one person gets the A, and then we're gonna move down to the B.
See, you gotta say what? The top 10% of the class gets an A. Abbott's in the top 10% of the class.
He is, but you're giving way too many A's.
That's 5 out of 50. Anyway, okay. All right. So here's the thing, guys. Long story short, if you live in the state of Texas, be happy. You have a great governor.
He's still not really messing with you. He really isn't. And that's awesome. The great thing. Because even some of these EOs he has put in place, they're kind of a show. And I know that even beyond the side that I'm on with him, they're a show.
Yeah, there are a lot of them for show. But it's a good show. Yeah. It's a good show to have, right? All right, well, let's go ahead and move to, want to do 3 hots?
Let's do 3 hots.
Let's do 3 hot takes, guys.
Woo!
All right, guys, 3 hot takes. Topic the first.
Major League Baseball.
Topic the second.
60 Minutes with Florida.
Topic the third.
Biden gun EOs.
Oh, boy. We get to talk about guns. All right. But before we talk about that, let's talk about baseball. Guys, sports
is ruined for you.
Sports is so ruined. This was you are my last hope, Major League Baseball.
I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed sending you that article and just sending you the little emoji Nick, what you gonna do about it, Nick?
Baseball was like my only thing, other than the fact that they let Fauci throw out the first pitch at the Washington Nationals game, and they closed all the stadiums. And they did the one thing with the pitcher's mound where they switched MLB to BLM, which was annoying, but at the same time, it was
I just thought the person who worked it just had dyslexia.
Yeah, it was fine. It was kind of background noise. But now, this was my last, sports are my thing. It's what I like to do to get away from this crap. And now, you're just... I can't even have my sports. What is going on, right? I love football. I stopped watching the NFL last year because of all their crap. I loved baseball, right? The Texas Rangers are one of my... I've grown up watching the old games at the games that now what we can call the old Globe Life Field, or the old ballpark in Arlington,
yeah.
Which is hashtag ballpark for life, right? Yeah. But that's the thing is I've always been... Baseball and football have always been my things. I never really much cared for basketball, which is apparent based on the last episode. And it's fine because basketball got super woke super fast and they're really annoying. I liked hockey for a little bit. I don't mind hockey. I mean, I'm fine with hockey. But guys, this is like the last thing that I could do to just kind of turn my brain off. And it's gone now. Because...
Don't worry, Nick. You can still watch soccer.
Because... Nope. The only time... So here's the thing. The only time I think Americans should watch soccer is...
You have no more channels on the TV, and that's the only thing that's playing.
No, when it's the World Cup. Because then it's about America. You're cheering for America.
For one day, and then they're out, and then we're back to the rest of the countries that play soccer.
That's not true. America made it to the second round of the tournament last time.
Woo.
That's a big deal for us. Anyway, the point is... Oh, yeah, well, the women also won the World Cup, but...
I don't watch soccer, so I don't care.
I don't watch women's sports, which
Sorry.
is soccer is a women's sport. Women's soccer is a women's sport, and men's soccer is a women's sport.
All right.
I'm sorry. That's
now
not
we're
true.
kicked off.
That's not true.
Man, I thought it was gonna be me.
Yeah,
it was you.
That well, but guys,
what did they do?
I don't even know what they did. It was just they moved the game, the All-Star game
and the
draft out of Atlanta, which for the record, I didn't watch much of the All-Star game anyway, right? Because it didn't really,
I'll maybe watch the home run tournament. Home run
derby's fun.
Yeah.
It's fine, but
because at least it admits this is for a show. This doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
But what I don't like about the All-Star game, because they say we do have some stakes on it, because whatever team that wins, that's who gets to have the home team advantage when it comes to World Series. Even if it's not your team that helped win, if you're the National League or American League, that team, whenever they win, lets the team in the World Series for that in that league actually have the home team advantage. That's it
for the series. I understand that, and look, I get it. Right, the All-Star game is one of those things. It does have some stakes, but it's kind of a flash. It's kind of a show. But the fact is that they moved it for no reason. They moved it because some people on Twitter...
Those voter laws were super bad.
Some people on Twitter said that the Georgia voter laws were oppressive. So they moved it from Atlanta to Denver, which, by the way, Colorado has even more restrictive voting laws than Georgia does.
Yeah, no, what's funny is that actually they cited a lot of it's the ID. How dare you force someone to have an ID? Fun fact, I looked this up. Colorado, according to their Secretary of State website, mandates that IDs must be shown to vote.
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
What?
And here's the thing.
Well, they moved it from Colorado to Denver. Or I'm sorry, to Atlanta to Denver.
Yeah.
You know what Atlanta's black population is?
I'm going to guess it's upwards of 70%.
51%.
Okay. Maybe
Denver
not.
black population. This is according to census.gov.
I overshot.
Again,
sorry.
Yeah. But again, I'll provide these articles again, not the be-all end-all. Denver's black population, 9.8%.
I really thought it was lower.
So they got super woke and went to the whiter suburb.
Super woke and super white. Here's the thing. I don't care. I don't care about the demographics of either city. The reality is you moved it for a stupid reason because you're trying to play into this sort of woke politics and political culture. And by the way, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about political culture, okay? And I don't care if there's actually any legitimate legislative ramifications for this. I don't care if it affects my tax rates. The fact is, culture matters, and sports drive culture. And when you, MLB, start saying that you are for this, you're going to move things for stupid reasons, you're going to appease the mob, you are encouraging crazy people in our country to continue being crazy. And here's the thing. I didn't look this up. Everyone has an ID. And I didn't need to look this up because I'm a grown adult in the United States of America and everybody has ID.
Yeah.
So
you ever had a job before? I looked this up for Texas. Texas technically will allow you, if you just have your birth certificate, to be that's your ID. So there's a workaround around it. But come on, if you don't have an ID, you really got a birth certificate, you just hand that, you just have.
Everybody has ID.
Yeah, it's soft bigotry of low expectations.
Buy beer, yeah, for sure. It's absolutely bigotry.
Because of their color, they can't get an ID. You assume that they don't know how?
There was video. There was videos. This guy, Ami Horowitz, which, by the way, works for PragerU, has, hashtag not sponsored, but they're awesome, right? Works for PragerU. He was going around Brooklyn asking a bunch of white people whether he thought voter ID was oppressive and whether
I remember seeing this video.
Yeah, the white people were like, yeah, those people, certain types of people, certain people can't get ID. They're too stupid. They might not know how to go online and get ID. And then he walks around like literally the Bronx and talking to all these black people like, you know how to get ID? He's like, yeah, I got ID. Of course I got ID.
What are you talking about? I have to work.
Exactly. Of course I have ID. But the thing is, they're trying to push against Brian Kemp partially because Kemp, I believe,
and that law is actually soft. It should have gone much farther, in my opinion, on certain things, and it didn't. But even the soft bend, well, it was too much.
They're trying to push against Kemp because I think Kemp is trying to make a 2024 run. I think it's apparent that he is. And so they're trying to push.
Get out of the way from DeSantis. He's the one that's going to lead the charge.
DeSantis, at this point, DeSantis is going to lead the charge. But Brian Kemp is a lot can happen in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
And so we don't know that, and they're trying to pick off all of these people. So they're pushing against Kemp and his Georgia voting laws. And also, they're pushing against it because of the fact that Georgia was one of the contested states in this last election.
Yeah.
And they're trying to say that any changes to the Georgia law is voter suppression because, of course, there is no fraud, right? Because the thing is that if you say that the voting law, and I've been thinking and I've been going through this in my mind for a long time about why you would be upset by this. The reason why is because the Democrats are saying if we say that there's nothing wrong with the changes to the Georgia voter law, we are granting legitimacy to the premise that there might have been fraud in the past election.
Yeah.
And so anything is just about suppressing the vote, which it's not. And it's stupid. And MLB, you got to get your mess together because this is garbage. And
You're going to turn away a lot of regular people.
I am tired of losing my sports. And here's another thing, very conflicted right now. Right? Very conflicted because I am so mad at the MLB. But I'm also, do you know what my favorite baseball team is?
Houston Astros?
That's not true. Not even a little bit true.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw you with a Houston Astros
If you
shirt.
if you even think the Toronto Blue Jays, I will come across this couch and
Toronto Red Jays?
Nope. That's right. The Texas Rangers.
Woo!
The Texas Rangers are my team, right? And I am so proud of the Texas Rangers.
What'd they do, Nick?
They opened up their stadium to full capacity so that
Over
40,000 people
fans
could watch the Texas Rangers spank the Toronto Blue Jays in this past series. Right?
I like how you have
40,000 people watched that happen. Largest gathering of people since March of 2020.
I like how you have to qualify it. They won the series because they didn't win every game.
They lost the first game. They
6-2.
Was it? They did. They lost the first game, but they won the last three. So here's the thing. They basically said, the government basically said, hey, you guys shouldn't open that up to full capacity. You could get people killed. And John Daniels went, do you know how much we paid for this new stadium? Which, by the way, they built the new stadium in 2019 for the 2020 season.
It didn't happen.
The opening game was in front of a crowd of no one.
You know what's funny is that there was they had the biggest games last year, the National League playoffs. Texas, we opened up our stadium for that, and they also opened up for the World Series game. They had it in Ranger Stadium.
Yep.
So we got to see at least a World Series game,
Yeah,
even if the Rangers weren't in it.
But nobody was in the stadium for it.
There were.
There were.
I worked
a
it.
few people.
Yeah, I worked in front. But they had to all wear their special little masks. It was only half capacity.
And here's the thing: people are still wearing masks in the ballpark.
Some are.
Some are still wearing masks in the ballpark, but they opened it up 40,000 people. And guys, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see people engaging with sports again.
Yeah.
To see people engaging with one another again.
Purely
We're social
voluntary
creatures, and I don't care what you think about all this garbage with Corona. The fact is, I am very proud of my team.
Yeah, if you're so scared, don't go.
Yeah.
Because all these people voluntarily went. There's no one forcing a gun to their head and say, you have to buy a ticket, go to the game. They said, I want to see the Rangers. I'm going to go watch the Rangers.
And so I want to support the Rangers, but I can't do that without also supporting the MLB.
Under the MLB, brother.
And I don't like it.
If you're going to have principles, you got to stick to them.
It drives me nuts, though.
Oh, but Abbott, he declined to throw that first pitch.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Abbott was
because
like,
after MLB made the decision and moved it, again, as we explained it to a much wider neighborhood, he's quoted from this is actually a PDF because he did a formal announcement.
By the way, the links to all this is in the description.
Yep. And some of the quotes he said were, Major League Baseball adopted what has turned out to be a false narrative about the election law reforms in Georgia, and based on that false narrative, moved the MLB All-Star Game from Atlanta. And this is where he mentioned, last year we hosted the playoff games in the World Series. He ends it off saying, I give respect to the Rangers, but he cannot separate MLB's decision over his fanship. Basically what you just said. Yeah, I want to support the Rangers, but what umbrella are they under?
I do want to support my Rangers, but the same thing is, I'm with you. I'm with you, Governor Abbott. And it's just, this is not useful. This is not helpful. This is not necessary. You don't need to do this. Sports need to go back to being apolitical.
Do you think they're going to lose money over this?
Yes, they're most certainly going to.
You think the NFL and the NBA? I mean, NBA certainly has lost money because they had the viewers.
The NBA's
their viewers for the last championship was like super down.
Absolutely
and LeBron was taking a third team to this. I remember watching it. Oh, LeBron's in it again with a different team. That's pretty interesting. You think people would watch? No one watched.
Yep, nobody watched.
I have a theory though. I have a theory of why they're doing this, like a broader theory.
Okay.
They know that this will tank their market. They know it. They don't care. The reason they don't care is all these players, whether it be MLB, I'm touching this mic constantly, so I apologize how it sounds. MLB, NFL, NBA. Okay, there's the three main ones. If they're all going woke and a lot of people stop watching, well, that means a lot less TV ads. A lot less TV ads mean a lot less money they can give for contracts. A lot less probably sponsorships that people are willing to give to certain players, or at least not as high ranging, because they don't have enough money to give out anymore.
Okay.
All these blockbuster deals, eventually the bubble has to pop. They're letting this be the bubble popping. It's like, all right, now that you know what our ratings are, let's readjust that contract. Because let's get more favorable contracts for us.
They're doing this to not pay the players as much?
Why not?
I don't think that makes sense, because as an employer, you want to pay your people more.
Right, but you can't keep dishing out $200 and $300 million deals. You just can't. You can have that one premier player and then a bunch of like B rated. It's like, okay, you can't do that very much, especially on baseball. Like we talked about last time, you can have an ace pitcher, which you pay a lot of money. That's one game, maybe not for the entire game.
But I think
so if you're going to pay your players, you're going to have to just disseminate that a little bit more.
I mean, you'd have to in order to affirm this theory, you'd have to look at the books. But I think that it's usually more reasonable to say, let's try and get more money and pay our employees more, but we're still making more money than it would be to say, hey, we're going to tank our earnings so that we don't have to pay our employees as much.
They already own the team. They already own the team.
Just from a business perspective, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, if you already own the team, someone's going to have to pay for it eventually if they actually want to buy it from you. So Jerry Jones, as we've known, when's the last time Cowboys have a championship? Yeah. Okay. And they're still the second or first highest team for money value.
For revenue,
yeah. Oh, in the billions. To purchase it would be literally probably at least $1 billion. If you wanted to purchase it from Jerry Jones' cold hands.
It'd be well over $1 billion.
Right. And they haven't had a championship. Why would you? So if someone wants to buy it from me, I'm still going to make a lot of money. If all I got to do is just tank it for a couple of years so I can pay my players even less, why not?
You're getting into some serious like smoky room conspiracy stuff now. The point is, guys, sports need to go back.
I fully admit I'm on mushrooms right now. So
make sports apolitical again. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this nonsense.
It's garbage.
The point of sports is to get us away from this crap, and you keep pulling like the Godfather. It pull me back in.
I'm tired
of it, right? Okay, topic the second.
This one's a fun one.
Yeah.
60 Minutes about Florida Governor DeSantis.
About DeSantis. Yes, oh my God, what a hack job, man.
Yeah.
That was so nutty. Now I went off on baseball, so I'm gonna let you go through this.
Oh, this is according to the Federalist. Well, they selectively edited the crap out of his video. They
selectively edited as being super generous with what they did.
They asked him a question. He showed them the logic of why he went to this grocery store called Publix. If you don't know, because they don't exist in Texas, Publix is basically like their version of Kroger. It's our version of HEB. All right, we got HEBs all around South Texas. They have Publix all around Florida. Okay, that's the equivalent. All right. Well, the accusation was because Publix gave him money for a super PAC. That was the reason he chose Publix to start handing out the vaccines. Well, when he said his logic of what got him to choose Publix, that all part got edited out. Because in that part, he says, we mentioned it with the county commissioners, we talked to the county, we talked to the people who were in distribution down there, and we asked them what would be the best way, and they said in the end, CVS and Walgreens aren't up to snuff. They can't do it as much. They're doing a good job. There's not as many. We have over 800 Publix here. How about we just let doctors start administering it in Publix? Because also, in the most senior counties, Palm Beach being one of them, Publix is within a 5-mile range of almost all the senior centers.
Yeah.
So it's very convenient to those who are needing it the most.
And didn't Palm Beach mayor come out and say, yeah, we totally talked about this?
Yes, Dave Kerner, a Democratic mayor, said the special was not based on bad information. It was intentionally false. This is a Democrat helping out a Republican governor. You don't see that very often. Yeah. And he said this. He said, because I know this, because I offered to provide my insight into Palm Beach County's vaccination efforts, and 60 Minutes declined to hear me. Hear me out. Why would you do that, 60 Minutes? That would be the person that, I don't know, would know better who lives in the county. Mm-hmm. If you're talking about a certain county, would you want to go to the mayor about that county? Mm-hmm. Hey, he's saying this, like, for instance, if it was our situation, like, so-and-so saying this in Austin, how about someone from your area? Yeah, it's actually still true. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to listen to you anymore. It's like, no, I'm confirming what he said is happening here, even though he said it from Austin.
The thing is, they're going after DeSantis for the same reason I think they're going after Kemp. DeSantis is very obviously posturing for a 2024 run.
Well, he's also just put the middle finger to all those super left states saying, we're going to shut it down. He's going, I'm not doing it.
Which, by the way,
that pisses them off.
For our viewers who are on the left, and there are some viewers that are on the left that watch this, and I greatly appreciate you guys watching. But I'm telling you this, Democratic people, left people, do not do this. Do not go after DeSantis like this. It's a bad... DeSantis is the Incredible Hulk. If you hit him, you're going to make him angry, and then you're going to really regret that.
If you thought Trump was Teflon, get ready for DeSantis.
Nothing's going to stick to DeSantis because DeSantis is just going to tell you that he's just going to throw it back in your face. And by the way, that's going to make you look like idiots, and that's going to make him look good.
Yeah.
This is not the way you approach DeSantis. This might be the way you approach certain politicians. Not DeSantis. You could get away with this if you were talking about Kristi Noem. Might even get away with this if you're talking about someone like Ted Cruz, although Teddy's been a little bit more vicious lately. Yeah. But DeSantis, this is the wrong play.
Yeah.
This is not the way to do it because he's gonna do stuff like this, and you're gonna end up looking stupid.
Right. And despite even them not having the lockdown orders, which we've brushed on, they still rank for COVID fatality rates. They're still 27th in the country.
Oldest population in the country.
Guess who leads it? Guess who leads the COVID fatality?
The COVID fatality, New York?
Yep.
Or New Jersey?
Nope. New Jersey's number 2.
Okay, New York. Yep.
Yeah. But they were super about it. They locked it down.
Who's governor of New York?
Let's not talk about that guy.
Is that the guy that put people back in nursing homes when they were hospitalized for COVID? We're talking about that psycho?
Mr. Cuomo?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, I want to see a Cuomo DeSantis. Cuomo versus DeSantis 2024. Let's do this.
No.
That would be some Thunderdome.
I wouldn't like it at all because that means that Cuomo could possibly win it, and I don't even want a chance at that. I'd rather have Biden than Cuomo.
Nah. I think Cuomo.
At least Biden's not there. Cuomo's going to do way too much.
Yeah. Biden's sitting in the corner eating crayons.
Yes.
He's just... I don't mean to... I'm not trying
every
to mock
day's
Joe
a new
Biden. Day
to him.
I am mocking Joe Biden. But guys, it's so sad what's going on with the presidency. And I would love to bring somebody with at least a little bit of vigor back in. So I'd actually rather have Cuomo than Biden. Because at least Cuomo, you can point to him, point to the man.
I don't like your version of the United States.
Here's the thing though. They're trying to snipe out potential 2024 contenders. DeSantis is a big one. They're trying to
they're doing it now.
Yeah.
Like, come on, give them a couple years. And that's the funny thing. If you have to do it now, that just shows you that they actually have some valid arguments. If they couldn't say a dang thing, and they weren't up to snuff anyways, let them yell. Like, good. Keep yelling your hot air. Don't give a crap when 2023 comes around, then we'll start looking at who these people are. But no, they're doing it in 2021. That's how scared of him they are.
He's dangerous, man. He's a dangerous candidate if you're on the left.
And if the Democratic mayor saying the entire opposite of 60 Minutes, and then 60 Minutes doubling down, they're offering themselves a lawsuit, in my opinion. Yeah. Because even though it's hard to do it when you're a public figure, when you voluntarily put yourself out in the public sphere to get criticized, that's what a politician basically is. You don't really have a lot of arguments like, oh, they're saying something mean. Yeah, welcome politics. I don't know what to tell you. Would you think everybody's going to be nice to you? No.
AOC. You think everyone's going to be nice to you,
yeah.
AOC?
Well, whatever. It's I lost my train of thought.
It's all good. It's all good. I threw you off with the AOC. Topic the third. Biden gun EOs. And I don't know if you know this. I read this somewhere. Texans apparently like guns. Oh yeah.
I don't have a site for that though. It's somewhere
Again,
there.
You don't need just
I
didn't research
that.
Texans like guns. I didn't research that. I don't need to. Right?
I just lived in Texas.
I live in Texas. Yeah. There are millions of guns here in Texas.
Yeah. He did a 5-ish EOs. All right. We can go through all 5. It's there. That's why the reason I say ish, we'll get to it. Number 1, The Justice Department, within 30 days, will issue a proposal rule to help stop the proliferation of ghost guns.
Again, comment, what is that? Someone tell me what that is.
Here's their explanation, Nick.
Okay.
This is according to the whitehouse.gov briefing room statements. So again, I'll put this up for you to see. I just pulled it straight from their own website.
Gotcha.
We are experiencing a growing problem. Criminals are buying kits containing nearly all of the components and directions for finishing a firearm within as little as 30 minutes and using these firearms to commit crimes. They don't offer any citations. They don't offer how many crimes are being committed. They just say it.
Yeah.
And they created a new thing called Ghost Gun. I have owned a lot of guns. Don't know what a ghost gun is.
So I'm really glad they did that because I didn't know what a ghost gun was. But then you read that description, and I still have no idea what a ghost gun is. What are you talking about? These components have serial numbers on them. If you're talking about guns that were made before like 1870, then we can talk about guns without serial numbers. But guns have serial numbers on them, and they have them in all sorts of different places. If you buy a Glock 19, the serial number is in the barrel. Yeah. There's one inside the barrel. There's one inside the mag well. They're all over the place, right? There are serial numbers on these components.
And if you try to like scratch it off, there are certain things that allow you to see the imprint from it being. It's like, oh, you scratched it off pretty efficiently. And going to add some acid here. And look at that. There's a number again. It's not that hard.
Enhanced.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Enhanced.
This is that's absurd. That's absurd. Anyway, go ahead.
Well,
continue.
It's the reason it's ish. I'm stating this is an executive order that someone else is going to write something up, and then we're gonna talk about it then. So nothing. Yeah, nothing.
But
and 3D printing, by the way, is kind of putting this moot.
Yeah, 3D printing.
So going to like you can you make it harder to buy it. All right, you can't take stuff off the internet, so we're just gonna print off these specs we already have. Yeah, you're done.
It's really just a matter of time. Biden has been consistent on one issue his entire career.
Passing the buck?
No, guns. Guns is the one issue that he's been consistent on for his entire career. He's flip-flopped on every other issue, but guns, he has been straight as an arrow. He wants to eliminate them. By the way, wasn't Beto supposed to be the gun czar?
Yeah.
Did that end up happening? I don't think it did. Poor Beto.
Well, Beto's white. So.
Poor Beto up there in New Mexico eating a bunch of dirt.
Well, he's just too white. He doesn't fit the woman of color or a woman and then that person being of color. Somehow that's not racist when Biden says it. When every other person says they choose matters for that reason, it's racist. But okay.
Biden has never been unclear about the fact that he's coming for guns, right? That he wants common sense gun measures, man.
But I'm not going to explain what the common sense is.
Come on,
man.
Stop it.
Come on, man.
Help. I forgot what it was. It was someone.
Once he gets offended, he's like, that's a good question. Come on, man. I don't want to answer that. Come on, man.
You can't shoot him. Shoot. Fool me once. Yeah, the Michael Jordan meme. Stop it. Get some help, right? But I think Biden was doing a speech at one point. He was like, stop it. Come on, man. And I'm sorry. He's like, shoot me once. Shame on you. Shoot me twice. You're not going to shoot me again. That's also a different president.
That's close to President Bush. Yeah, that was a mock. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Point is, you ain't going to fool me again. Thank you, Mr. Bush.
But Biden is like the Democrat. Well, he's like the worst Democratic version of Bush.
Yeah,
right? It's just he's just not. And
he's also not making these decisions himself.
The only thing
he's proving it with these
The only thing saving us from Joe Biden, to me, is his ineffectiveness, which also might be our downfall, too, because he's just going to allow other people to come in and sign all these EOs.
Here's the second one. The Justice Department, within 60 days, will issue a proposed rule to make clear when a device marketed as a stabilizing brace effectively turns a pistol into a short-barreled rifle, subject to the requirements of the National Firearms Act. Here's the reason behind it. The alleged shooter in Boulder tragedy last month appears to have used a pistol with an arm brace. Okay, finally a citation. Thank you. One, okay. But also you're not making a decision. You're letting the Justice Department have a proposed rule that states then have to adopt, so it's nothing.
And also, a stabilizing brace does not turn a pistol into a rifle. You have to lengthen... That's not how guns work. You have to lengthen the barrel in order to make it more accurate, and a stabilizing brace does not do that.
You want to know what the stabilizing brace was originally put on for?
What was that?
People who have one hand.
People who have one hand?
Yeah, so you're effectively being an ableist by taking away this, like...
Mocking our disabled community.
Yeah, good job.
Mr. President.
And would this even stop the shooting? No.
No.
There's no way to prove that. There's no way to offer any kind of like
even if it were true
stats.
The Boulder shooter is going to be like, well, I can't use my stapling brace, so I guess it's off.
I guess I'm just going to use my pistol.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm
just
an idiot and I'm shooting at people and I deserve to be in prison the rest of my life.
Grip it a little tighter. Yeah, it's a horrible person. But you can't legislate horrible people.
No.
So. Anything else of note on those EOs, or is it just more posturing?
All of it's posturing.
All posturing.
I'll tell you that right now. All it's posturing, but I'll read you the full ones because I do think it's fair to at least put it out there exactly what it is and not just our commentary on it. The third one is the Justice Department within 60 days will publish model red flag legislation for states. Again, someone else writing it for him in 60 days that states have to adopt. They can't just put it on. So you're not doing nothing because, as we stated earlier, Abbott has said, nope, we're not doing any of those things because red flag laws, they allow someone to petition for a court order to temporarily bar people that are in crisis from accessing firearms. They present a danger to themselves or others. It does not define what in crisis means. And present a danger, again, is not defined. That guy's an avid Republican that agrees with QAnon. I think that's enough of a reason. Oh, you got to find a left judge? There you go. We're good. Check. No gun for you, Mr. Sir.
If you're going to make a law, you need to make a law against vagary in legislation.
They won't.
Vagary in legislation.
If we got rid of that, there'd be no more politicians.
It's going to be the death of this country. Yeah, for sure. All right.
All right, number 4. The administration is interested, or I'm sorry. That's it. The administration is investing in evidence-based community violence interventions. Because cities across the country are experiencing a historic spike in homicides, the Biden-Harris administration is taking a number of steps to prioritize investments in community violence and interventions. What that spells out to is we think a lot about it.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it.
We're going to prioritize. What that means is it's number 1 on my list.
We'll make a committee.
Have you actually checked it off the list? But it's number 1. Mm-hmm. Great. I said that all the time. Yeah, no, Mom, I'll clean my room. Top of my list. That wasn't an answer. She's like, I didn't say to get to it. I said to do it.
Do it. Yeah, do it now.
And I don't know. I think I have an idea of why there's historic spikes in homicides. You got rid of the cops.
Yep. Just a theory.
But
it seems to me like less police means more homicide.
I don't know. Maybe Minnesota, hush-hushly, just like Seattle, hush-hushly, we're going to start giving more money back to our cops. Oh, but I thought you were defunding. Yeah, we less than a year, it didn't work out.
We regret that decision. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Just don't talk about it. They won't put it on the news.
Increased gun homicide is a natural consequence of defunding the police. And people say, well, the problem is guns. No, the problem is not guns. I'm sorry. The fact is, if you look at places like, if you look at reports from the FBI Crime Division and you coordinate that with something like Scotland Yard, our homicide rate from us in the UK, where gun laws are severely more strict, is exactly the same.
It's funny
our violent crime rates are a little bit lower.
It's funny you mentioned the total homicides by weapon and stuff.
Yeah.
Because 2019, again, this is according to FBI, so I'll post this up with our description. 2019's the latest we have. Apparently, it takes well into the next year, so I think we're probably get 2020's actual numbers probably somewhere around the summer of this year. Because the last one was in September, but they actually released it before then in the summer. They had a finalized list in September. That's a long way of saying basically it takes about a year for them to get the stats and have it fully available because you are amounting for all the entire United States.
Yep.
That's a lot of precincts, a lot of cops, and a lot of police reports to file into a whole database. Well, for 2019, we had a total homicides by weapon in 2019 were 13,927. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Down from 2018 at 14,000, down from 2017 at 15,000, down from 2016 at 15,000, up not even just under 100 from 2015 at 13,847. So if we're not continuously going up, despite what talking heads say.
Yeah.
But let's just break it down by weapons. All right, rifle. This is the United States in total. Rifle, 364 deaths. Handgun, 6,368. Do you already see a narrative push here? Mm-hmm. Oh, they talk about the ARs. It's not the ones that are causing all the damage.
Yeah.
Shotgun, 200. Other guns, because somehow the police report didn't contain what gun it was, 45. Knives, 1,476. We don't talk about knives.
More people are killed
literally
by
triple,
knives
like
than
more
rifles.
than triple of a rifle. A blunt object, still more than rifles, 397. And hands, feet, fists, which apparently include being pushed, anything you do with your body, basically, just your body, 600, still more than rifles.
That's true.
I've never heard some fist regulation because where people are using their fists too much.
Yeah. By that logic, I'm just imagining. You remember those inflatable punching things that you'd be throwing in? Like that's gonna be the after we get rid of all the rifles, they're gonna be like, all right, next is fists.
Oh, just give me the Hulk hands.
Make everyone wear Hulk hands.
Those little Hulk hands, that way it makes noise like
Yeah.
Let's break it down. Just to Texas, our total for 2019, which amounted to about approximately 1% of the entire U.S. total, was 1,379. Handguns, 568. Rifles, 72. Shotguns, 21. Unknown firearms, I don't believe that for a second, but whatever, 403. Knives, 127. Other weapons, 130. And back to the hands, fists, feet, and pushed, 58. Rifles are not the culprit.
No, they're really
It is
not.
handguns.
Handguns are absolutely the case, and so we're going to have to start regulating that. The problem, though, is that when you start looking into those numbers of people that die from handguns, then you have another narrative that the left doesn't like, which is the fact that a lot of this is gang violence.
Yeah,
and a lot of this is
because you won't police.
Yeah, which is also why they changed the definition of a mass shooting to 4 or more people, because there's a lot of drive-bys and a lot of gang violence that results in the death of at least 3 people.
Right.
And so
when we do 4, we'll save our butt. We'll cover our butt one way or another. Yeah.
But that's a big issue that they have to kind of get away from. And I can't, on a philosophical level, I just disagree with this because guns are just not the problem. The fact is bad people are the problem. And like I said, I think the
Put them
FBI
in prison.
I think the FBI crime statistics back that up when you compare it with other countries that have stricter gun laws. The fact is, people are going to be violent. They're going to use whatever tools that they have at their disposal. Our tools just happen to be, guns are powerful. Guns are an effective way of ending somebody's life, no doubt. They're also an incredibly effective way to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And
well, England is so weird because I worked with a bunch of Brits when I was a recruiter, and as a natural Texan, I have a pocket knife all the time. Sometimes I pull it out and just clean my fingernail out real quick. And it's like, all right, and kind of got some gunk, whatever. Just clean it out, put it back in my pocket. Like, wait. Can I see that again? And they were just so surprised I was carrying this around. Like, what's the big deal? It's a pocket knife. Mm-hmm. It's a felony over there because they're so woke on all the freaking weapons. They can't just let their people make decisions. Yep, even a knife is somehow a felony. It's like literally going back when you were in school. If the knife is bigger than your palm, then you have an illegal knife. You can't bring it to school. And then it went to, no, you just can't have a knife at all. Yeah. Why?
Why not?
Why? But there is one more. Sorry, there's one more. And I want to at least get to it to be fair to Mr. Pretend President Biden. The number 5, the Justice Department will issue an annual report on firearms trafficking. All right. So you're going to issue a report.
We're going to get a report
about estimated trafficking because you can't really have a number on that unless you actually catch them. Mm-hmm. So here's how many we caught. Thanks. We're doing better. How do you know?
The data's worth having.
But how do you know you're doing better? We're finding less guns. Maybe you're getting worse at your job.
Yeah. Data's worth having. So if it's just filing a report, then whatever. That doesn't bother me.
But to sum it all up, it sounds dastardly when you hear Biden gun EO. Mm-hmm. None of that mattered. Mm-hmm. He passed the buck. He's letting someone else, Justice Department, decide these rules, proposed rules, that have no meaning unless any state adheres to them. Yep. So good job. Good posture. From a politician standpoint, you said a lot without actually doing anything. Clap, sir.
Clap for Abbot, who's going to look at Biden and be like, nah. Yeah. You come over here and say, I dare you to come to Texas.
Yeah.
I dare you. We'll have a bunch of Alamos constructed along the Red River. We'll just build a bunch of Alamo replicas and be like, y'all come on over.
Yeah, cross this line. I dare you.
The fact is that guns are there because we need to protect ourselves. And we need to protect ourselves from when things get bad.
Yeah.
And things could very easily get bad if you take those guns away. Yeah. All right? So you got any parting thoughts, any closing thoughts regarding the things that we've discussed today?
I'm going to be excited to hear the updated version of you watching the MLB because I'm never going to watch the Rangers. You have no principles.
I do. I have principles, but I love the Rangers. I do.
We'll see. That's the only parting thought I have.
Well, as they say, at Texas Ranger games, at the 7th inning, friends, the stars at night are big and bright. See you next time.